In 1949, the story begins with IP Man, a highly skilled practitioner of Wing Chun martial arts, and his family making a move to Hong Kong. Their relocation was prompted by the need to escape the Japanese-occupied territories they were residing in, particularly Chun, who was being pursued by Japanese troops. The Master. The year is now 1950. One evening he returned home and assisted his pregnant wife in fetching some water. Their living conditions were modest, as they were immigrants with scarce possessions. Unfortunately, the landlord arrived to collect the rent, but they decided not to answer the door because they had no money to fulfill the payment. The following day, an unfamiliar teenager showed up at IP Man's doorstep, holding an academy handbook. Skeptical of the stranger's intentions, IP Man suspected him of mischief when he observed the teenager assisting their neighbor in drying clothes. However, to his surprise, the young man expressed interest in enrolling in IP Man's academy. Nevertheless, before IP Man could explain the principles of Wing Chun, the teenager interrupted and proposed a different course of action: a duel. He declared that if he lost, he would pay IP Man for the challenge. IP Man, undeterred by the unexpected turn of events, accepted the teenager's challenge. They confronted each other on the rooftop of the building, engaging in a fierce battle. IP Man effortlessly defeated the teenager, who, true to his word, handed over the promised payment. This encounter marked the emergence of IP Man's first student in Hong Kong. IP Man greets his challenger, preparing for the duel ahead. Initially, he engages in a gentle manner, refraining from inflicting harm upon his opponent. However, as the fight progresses, IP Man's strikes intensify, unleashing powerful punches that eventually send his adversary tumbling to the ground. Following the duel, IP Man requests the promised payment from the challenger's employer. Unfortunately, the man departs without fulfilling his financial obligation. Later that evening, the man returns, accompanied by 3 companions who encircle IP Man, taunting him mockingly. IP Man issues a warning, stating that he will expel them unless they approach Wing Chun with seriousness and respect. However, undeterred, they insist on challenging him. Thus, a battle ensues, pitting IP Man against the 4 opponents. IP Man skillfully defeats each of them, leaving the scene without further confrontation. Surprisingly, the unknown man, who goes by the name of Leon, returns shortly after, kneeling down before IP Man as a sign of his readiness to become a student. To everyone's astonishment, the other 3 men also kneel down, expressing their desire to learn from IP Man. Amused by their sudden change of heart, IP Man agrees to teach them but requests that they first pay their fees to signify their commitment. The next day, IP Man dedicated his time to instructing his students, patiently explaining his techniques and providing them with thorough training. As time went by, the number of students under his guidance gradually increased, showcasing the growing popularity of his teachings. On a particular day, IP Man embarked on the task of collecting tuition fees from his students. However, he displayed understanding and compassion, choosing not to insist on payment from those who were facing financial difficulties. He recognized their hardships and extended his understanding towards their circumstances, uncovering the past. During the evening, as IP Man was preparing to indulge in some sweets, he was startled by the commotion caused by a group of people chasing a thief who had stolen a duck. Intrigued by the situation, IP Man willingly offered his help in capturing the miscreant. Although the thief managed to escape, his son led IP Man to an unexpected encounter. To IP Man's astonishment, he came face to face with his longtime best friend, Chun. However, much to his dismay, Chun was in a state of madness, displaying erratic behavior. When IP Man attempted to approach him, Chun even launched an attack. Witnessing his dear friend in such a distressing condition deeply saddened IP Man. He couldn't help but blame himself for not being there for Chun during his time of need. Chun's son confided in IP Man, revealing that his father's current state was a result of a head injury caused by a gunshot. He explained how Chun would occasionally fail to recognize even his own son and engage in peculiar behavior. IP Man was devastated upon learning about his friend's condition. Determined to make a difference, he made a solemn pledge to do everything within his power to assist Chun. In a heartfelt conversation with Chun's son, IP Man assured him that he would take care of his father. He expressed his intention to teach Chun the art of Wing Chun, firmly believing that it could aid in his recovery and improvement. Chun's son expressed deep gratitude towards IP Man for his kindness and compassion. He placed his trust in IP Man, fully confident that his father was in capable hands. Lu is engrossed in posting flyers on the wall when a man from Hong Academy starts taunting him. Lian, a fellow student from the same academy, steps forward and accepts the man's challenge for a duel. Initially, it's a one-on-one confrontation, but after Lian emerges victorious, the rest of the students from Hong Academy launch an immediate attack on him. Meanwhile, a student from Hong Kong pays a visit to IP Man and urgently requests his presence at the fish market. To complicate matters, Liang, another student from Hong Academy, demands a ransom as retribution for the previous altercation involving their comrades. Upon arriving at the fish market, they release Liang, who proceeds to explain the entire situation to IP Man. The student from Hong Kong inquires about the ransom demanded for IP Man's release, but IP Man adamantly refuses. Tensions escalate as they all gather around IP Man. Remaining composed, IP Man handles the situation calmly, but the group launches another assault, this time brandishing weapons. IP Man skillfully defends himself using a wooden pallet and successfully seizes 2 machetes. Despite finding himself cornered, IP Man decides to take a hostage in a bid to secure his escape. However, as they make their way down the road, a group of people suddenly approaches, sprinting toward them, further complicating the already tense situation. As it turns out, the group of people who came running towards them was led by Jin, the traveler who had appeared in a previous movie. Jin then allows IP Man to go free and pleads with him to hand over the machetes. However, not long after, IP Man finds himself confronted once again, but this time it is by Master Hong and his students who ban him from their presence. In response, IP Man introduces himself and provides an explanation regarding Hong's requirement for mastery. This incites anger in Mr. Hong, who declares that the IP Man Academy lacks the necessary permit and demands that IP Man now engage in duels with every kung fu master in Hong Kong. After a considerable amount of time passes, Mr. Hong, accompanied by a friend, visits the police office to deliver the money for the boxing tickets. He also seeks his own share, but ends up being struck unconscious by the Western constable instead. During the night, IP Man's wife expresses her desire for him to give up his teaching career. However, IP Man remains steadfast in his resolve and attempts to calm his wife, reaffirming his commitment to his chosen path. On the following day, a gathering of all the kung fu masters takes place in a fencing arena, centered around a large white table. In due time, IP Man makes his appearance, joining the assembly. Mr. Hong takes the initiative to introduce IP Man to the other kung fu masters and presents him with a challenge. He must endure and survive until the incense burns out, or else he will be deemed the loser. IP Man confidently approaches the table, ready to face the first kung fu master. With remarkable skill and ease, he defeats his opponent without encountering any significant difficulty. Subsequently, the second master steps forward to take on IP Man. Once again, IP Man demonstrates his superior abilities and successfully subdues his adversary, leading him to concede a defeat. Finally, Mr. Hong himself steps up to the table, prepared to engage in combat with IP Man. The intensity of the fight captures the attention and intrigue of all the kung fu masters, who watch with heightened interest, enthralled by the thrilling confrontation unfolding before them. Both IP Man and his opponent exhibit incredible strength and agility throughout their intense fight. The duel reaches its climax as the table they are battling on splits in half, yet both fighters manage to maintain their balance and remain standing on their respective sections. Finally, as the incense burns out, IP Man emerges victorious and is granted the permit he sought. However, Mr. Hong makes a request that IP Man contribute a monthly fee similar to the other academies. IP Man respectfully declines, expressing his willingness to accept challenges for duels but firmly refusing to pay fees on behalf of others. In response, Master Hung issues a warning to IP Man, advising him to remain vigilant and cautious in his actions. Following this exchange, Mr. Hong takes a seat and proceeds to consume a herbal remedy to alleviate his asthma, taking a moment to tend to his health. The next day, a man becomes aware of a beanie associated with Hong Academy, which is causing difficulties for people trying to locate IP Man's Wing Chun Academy. This situation makes Liang Min, presumably a member of IP Man's Academy, uneasy, leading him to vent his frustration by throwing urns. This act sparks a dispute between the two academies, escalating tensions further. Later in the evening, Ken approaches IP Man, requesting him to vacate his teaching space due to the recent altercation that took place. IP Man acknowledges Ken's request, understanding the concerns. However, he decides to take matters into his own hands and pays a visit to Master Hong to express his objections. In their meeting, Master Hong justifies his request by emphasizing the significance of running a Kung Fu academy in Hong Kong, citing the city's close connections with the Western world. The discussion escalates, and Master Hong challenges IP Man to another duel to settle their differences. However, during the midst of their fight, an unexpected event occurs when Master Hong's son unexpectedly passes by the scene. This unexpected interruption introduces a new element of uncertainty and potentially alters the course of their confrontation. Fortunately, IP Man managed to successfully load whatever it was he was dealing with. Subsequently, Mr. Hong's wife and their children made an appearance, extending an invitation to Mr. Hong for a dinner gathering at their residence. Sensing the need to depart, IP Man inquired if he could take his leave the following day. Chinese versus British. As the next day arrived, Mr. Hong paid a visit to IP Man's institute. While IP Man was engaged in teaching, Mr. Hong summoned him to join in watching a Western boxing match. After the match concluded, Mr. Hong departed, marking the moment when they officially became friends, solidifying their bond. Shortly after this, Mr. Hong ventured to the boxing ring, seeking information about the men's salaries from the Western policeman in exchange for arranging the arena. However, an enraged policeman issued a threat to shut down the fish market. In the midst of this tense situation, Mr. Hong's friend, Fatso, intervened and urged him to consider the implications, as many individuals would potentially lose their livelihoods should the fish market be forced to close down. During the evening, a significant event unfolded, organized by the students from the Chenji Academy. In the midst of this occasion, Mr. Hong approached IP Man and requested him to send one of his skilled disciples to showcase their abilities. Notably, Twister, a boxer, was also in attendance during the event. As the various kung fu performances commenced, Twister made a disparaging comment, belittling Chinese boxing by likening it to a mere dance show. Driven by his provocative attitude, Twister proceeded to step onto the stage and initiate a confrontation, launching attacks against everyone present. Furthermore, he boldly expressed his opinion, asserting that Chinese boxing held no real value. Dominance. Filled with frustration and anger, the Kung Fu masters stormed into a public square, initiating a physical confrontation. Witnessing the escalating fight, both Master Hong and IP Man swiftly intervened, stepping into the square to quell the violence. However, IP Man found himself forced to defend himself against the relentless attacks of an individual named Twister. On the other hand, Mr. Hong skillfully evades Twister's assault, further fueling the aggressor's fury. In an attempt to resolve the situation peacefully, they requested Twister to apologize, but he adamantly refused. Twister insisted that he would only apologize if Mr. Hong could defeat him in a boxing match. Accepting the challenge, Mr. Hong agreed to the conditions set by Twister. The fight commenced, with Mr. Hong displaying impressive skills in the first round. Concerned about the unfolding situation, IP Man suggested that he retrieve his weapons. Mr. Hong consented to this suggestion. In the second round, Mr. Hong landed numerous successful punches, showcasing his prowess. Unfortunately, fate took a turn as Twister delivered a powerful blow that sent Mr. Hong crashing to the ground. Undeterred, Mr. Hong gathered his strength, exhaling a gust of wind resembling a tornado, and took a deep breath. It was then that his students noticed his asthma had flared up, causing concern for his well-being in the midst of the intense fight. During a break in the fight, IP Man, concerned for Mr. Hong's well-being, suggested that he should cease the battle. However, Mr. Hong remained resolute, refusing to back down. He declared that he could not tolerate anyone mocking his kung fu skills, and his determination to defend his honor remained steadfast. Soon after, the round resumed, and Mr. Hong found himself on the receiving end of a relentless barrage of powerful punches known as hurricane punches. Sorrow, IP Man, witnessing the toll the fight was taking on Mr. Hong, attempted to surrender on his behalf, recognizing the risk of further harm. Yet, Mr. Hong intervened, preventing IP Man from throwing in the towel. He urged his fellow kung fu master to rise and continue the fight, driven by his unyielding spirit. However, amidst the intense confrontation, Mr. Hong's asthma resurfaced, causing him great distress. Seizing the opportunity, the opponent capitalized on this vulnerability and delivered a merciless hurricane punch, inflicting a devastating blow upon Mr. Hong. At that moment, the referee signaled the conclusion of the match, recognizing the severity of the situation. Tragically, Master Hong did not survive the fight, succumbing to the injuries sustained during the relentless battle. In a somber and respectful gesture, IP Man attended Master Hong's funeral, paying his final respects to a fallen comrade and fellow kung fu practitioner. On the subsequent day, Twister and his team held a press conference, where they adamantly refused to accept any responsibility for Mr. Hong's tragic demise. They argued that his death was solely due to his own weaknesses, dismissing any notion of accountability. To further exacerbate the situation, Twister ridiculed the Chinese tradition of using incense as a means of keeping time. In response, IP Man made a powerful entrance, making his presence felt. He pointed out that incense holds significance in Chinese prayers and rituals, highlighting its cultural value and importance. With conviction, IP Man challenged Twister to a duel, seeking to defend the honor of his fallen comrade. The following day, IP Man made the decision to relocate his family to a neighboring house. This strategic move aimed to provide him with an environment free from distractions, enabling him to focus on his training undisturbed. Additionally, he took the time to prepare chewable food, ensuring his wife's comfort during her pregnancy. Despite her impending childbirth, his wife selflessly expressed her desire not to let her condition interfere with IP Man's training, showcasing her support and dedication to his martial arts journey. Finally, the much-anticipated day of the pivotal match had arrived. People eagerly tuned in to the radio channel, eagerly awaiting the live commentary of the event. Stepping into the ring, IP Man's gaze locked onto his adversary, Twister, as he swiftly made his way towards him. However, the referee intervened, directing IP Man back to his corner, much to the amusement of the Western audience, who found this sight rather comical, resulting in laughter echoing through the arena. Justice. With the referee's signal, the fight officially commenced. Initially, it seemed that IP Man was being outmatched by Twister's remarkable speed and raw power. Concern began to ripple through the spectators, as a forceful punch from Twister sent IP Man tumbling to the canvas. However, to the delight of the crowd, IP Man exhibited his resilience by swiftly rising to his feet, demonstrating his unwavering determination. In a surprising turn of events, IP Man managed to knock Twister down in the second round, earning a well-deserved round of applause from the enthralled audience. IP Man skillfully unleashed a flurry of punches, landing several strikes on Twister. However, amidst the intense battle, Twister retaliated with a decisive blow against IP Man, intensifying the tension in the match and keeping everyone on the edge of their seats. The fight was a gripping spectacle, capturing the undivided attention of all those witnessing the fierce contest. The sound of the bell reverberated through the arena, igniting a wave of excitement among the crowd. Singh, feeling a sense of injustice, sparked a discussion among the jury members, resulting in a consequential decision. It was determined that IP Man would be prohibited from executing kicks in the upcoming third round. Failure to adhere to this restriction would lead to Twister being declared the winner. As the match unfolded, Cyclone, displaying remarkable strength, managed to overpower IP Man, sending him crashing to the canvas. However, drawing strength from the advice imparted by Mr. Hong, IP Man summoned his resilience and managed to rise to his feet. He refocused his attacks, targeting Twister's arms and delivering a series of impactful blows. In a triumphant turn of events, IP Man successfully knocked Twister down, relentlessly striking his opponent's face. The referee initiated the countdown, and the anticipation grew as the audience intently listened to the match. Ultimately, Hurricane was declared the loser, much to the delight of the roaring crowd. A chorus of cheers erupted, celebrating IP Man's hard-earned victory, a testament to his unwavering determination and skill. Freedom fighter. Following the conclusion of the match, IP Man, a highly esteemed martial artist, delivered a heartfelt speech that left a lasting impact. He conveyed a message that transcended the debate of kung fu versus boxing, emphasizing the significance of mutual respect among different martial arts disciplines. IP Man stressed the importance of unity and understanding, urging everyone to move forward without causing offense. His words struck a chord with the Western audience, who responded with a standing ovation, showcasing their admiration and support. After the event, IP Man hastened to return to the loving embrace of his wife and their newborn baby, eager to reunite with his family. A few days later, a young boy arrived, expressing a keen interest in learning Wing Chun, a form of martial arts that IP Man practiced and taught. Before bidding farewell, IP Man kindly inquired about the boy's name, and to his surprise, the boy revealed himself as Bruce Lee. This poignant encounter marked the conclusion of the movie, leaving a sense of anticipation for the future adventures and achievements of the legendary Bruce Lee. What do you think of IP Man 2? Let us know in the comment section below, and make sure to check out these other videos over as well.